Welcome to this edition of Community Movers, Shakers, and Headline Newsmakers. And I've got some good news. Joining me in the studio right now is our brand new police chief, Rob Davis. Welcome, Rob.
Oh, thank you. Nice to be here.
Well, Rob, I guess I shouldn't say brand new because you freshly minted, though. You've been on the job almost a month now.
That's
or is
correct.
it a little more than a month?
30th will be a month.
Okay, 30th will be a month. Now, you come to us with a unique set of skills and experience. You grew up in the area here, so that's kind of very good news.
So it's correct. Yeah, I grew up in Ashwaubenon. I worked with Six Nations Police for many, many years before taking on some other new positions in my career. And yeah, this is a homecoming of sorts.
Yeah, great. Now, I want to turn back the clock just a little bit because, I mean, some of our viewers would like to know what it was about the police services that really initially attracted you. What was it that spoke to you as a career venue that you thought you wanted to pursue?
You know, that's an interesting question. I was actually bound and bent I was going to join the military.
Okay.
I had an older cousin that had joined the military, and I was absolutely bound and bent.
And of course, Six Nations in Ashwaubenon, a proud history of serving in the military.
Yes, absolutely. And it was sort of by coincidence. I was a pretty decent football player, and I was starting to get recruited by some schools for football. And I was in this.
What position did you play?
I started out as a center and wound up as a guard.
Okay, you and I would have been very familiar then. I was a quarterback, so.
So at that time, I was starting to get recruited for football, and I was in this struggle. Do you pursue football in post-secondary?
Yeah.
Or do I go to the military, or do I pursue post-secondary and dovetail that with the military? And it was actually one of my friend's uncle was a police officer with the Haldimand Norfolk Regional Police.
Okay.
And pitched the idea, he asked, what are you looking for from the military? And when we talked about it, he suggested policing could offer the same things, and he recommended I try being an auxiliary police officer. And so I started as an auxiliary police officer with the Haldimand Norfolk Regional Police, and got the bug. The rest is history.
And the rest is history. Isn't that interesting, though? Because, I mean, kids at that age, and I mean, respectfully so, it is a very, very important pivotal point in their lives. They're forced to make some huge life-altering decisions. And here you are at 17 or 18-year-olds thinking, do I want to go in this direction or do you want to go in that direction? And thank goodness for all of us, you chose the direction of pursuing police services. So we are grateful for that.
Yeah.
Now, your police service or your career went from auxiliary to full-time with the Six Nations, and then you left for a little while to pursue a leadership opportunity in Dryden.
Yeah, that's correct. So in between there, auxiliary with the Haldimand Norfolk Regional Police.
Okay.
Then full-time member with the Six Nations Police. I started to climb the ranks. And in the course of that, I was doing some secondments to other positions.
Okay.
And the person I reported to, he was an OPP chief superintendent, made me aware of a opportunity in northwestern Ontario with the Anishinaabe Police.
Okay.
At the time, I had my inspector credit through the Ontario Police College, and they were looking for an inspector to oversee the Northwest region, so 19 flying detachments plus a regional headquarters.
Wow.
And so at the time I was single, and it was a great opportunity. It was a First Nations police service. So I went there, and just incredible experience. I really honed thinking outside the box, and really honed
creative approaches,
community engagement, really recognizing we can't do it alone. From there, I was then seconded to the RCMP in Ottawa, to the Canadian Police College for 4 years. And then my homecoming after that was when Brantford, Brant, and Six Nations took the auto theft capital away from Winnipeg in 2010. Yeah. And so Chief Lickers asked me to come home. We got Project Shutdown off the ground, and then Darren Montour took on a leadership role with that. And that was shortly after that I was recruited by a search firm to consider the chief's job in Dryden. I had family ties in the area, so the opportunity presented itself, and I have to, I can't say enough about Chief Glenn Lickers. Really provided me a lot of opportunities. But something pivotal was he said, "You'll never know what it's like to be chief until you're in the chief's chair."
True.
And so here was an opportunity to go to a small service to cut my teeth, but it was facing some really unique challenges.
Okay.
Not dissimilar from what we're facing right now in Brantford. And so I went there for just shy of 5 years, and then after that to Lethbridge for just shy of 5 years.
Okay. Now, I want to ask this with all due respect. Some people join the police services and they're interested only in being a police officer and servicing their community as a police officer. Not everybody joins with the idea of perhaps wanting to play a larger role and seeing opportunities and things like. But I want to say again, some of these opportunities fell into your lap, but you must have certainly had an eye towards wanting to play a larger role in helping the community in which you lived.
Absolutely. Policing is a profession that throughout my 29 years in the industry is very slow to change. And so that's what motivated me to take on some challenges and opportunities, was to try and be that impetus for change and doing something outside the box and new creative approaches. And so that was really a motivator. And I have to really, there's some people along the way in my career that really said, it may not seem like a big deal to them, but some of my professors in university talked about how there was going to be this bottleneck, sort of the hiring freezes in the late 80s, early 90s were going to create a bottleneck in opportunities. And it's only going to be those that go out and seek those that will be ready for the leadership challenge that we're in today. And it's funny because 25 years ago we were talking about there's going to be a leadership gap as the baby boom walks out the door into retirement. And
lo and behold. Yeah.
And so it was those little snippets like that along the way where things people said that probably didn't even
mean that much at the time,
but really impacted some decisions I've made along the way.
Well, a couple of important questions I want to ask. Chief, your return to Brantford. Obviously, we're a community that has had a lot happen in the course of the last year, so we're facing some challenges. What do you perceive as the greatest challenge that Brantford faces as a community?
Right now is obviously the violence associated to the drug crisis. We're seeing that the ties of that to the GTA. So it's not isolated to Brantford. We're all feeling this in Southern Ontario. In this community, though, we're definitely seeing that. And while I was away, the intent was always to get back to Southern Ontario, and I still have family on Six Nations, so I'd watch the news, what's going on here. And that was very evident, is the amount of violence and clearly associated to the drugs has definitely climbed in the last couple of years.
And Brantford is a community that is growing, certainly a number of people moving in. What opportunities do you see here in Brantford for us to perhaps rein in that challenge?
Community engagement, collaboration with the other police services. We already have that, but we need to really improve that. And that's not isolated to Brantford. The police, we need to collaborate more.
So people need to get involved.
People need to get involved. Police services, we need to be sharing the resources that will help combat this. And that is happening, but I believe we really need to emphasize upping that. We need to up our game in that regard.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to drop in, Chief. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I'm Joe Persia along with Police Chief Rob Davis. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.